Greetings everyone, please give a moment to make sure everything's set on up. YouTube still booting up, which appears to be good to go. Looks like everything's booting on up. Looks like everything's good to go. Let me activate the chat windows. Alright, and that seems all good to go. Oh, Twitch over here. Yep, and oh, I need to grab a drink. Give me a moment. And there we go. Looks like everything's good to go. Disable OBS, save some resources, and let's find a replay. Not any of those replays, because I don't have any of those replays. Plus, a patch just came out, so all those previous replays are not able to be used. This one seems reasonable enough. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Age of Mythology replay. Spawn on the left side as the blue Hades, we got Defiance. Spawn on the right side as the red Loki, we got Blub. With the new patch, hopefully the, whatchamacallit, caster display won't go away. It's existing right now, so that's good. Red does tame some goats, they are the goat. When it comes to relics, you have the Bow of Artemis, make your ranged soldiers and ranged myth units cheaper. Only wood and gold, not in food, nor favor. Is there any ranged myth units that cost favor? I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's any ranged myth units that cost favor, or not favor, food. Did I say favor or food? My mind's melted. Either way, when it comes to this northern relic, we do have human soldiers do more damage for buildings. Very nice. Always nice to have your guys clear up buildings quicker. Got the Black Lotus, a very expensive card, making your villagers gather farms faster, which will make your long game economy very reasonable. And we do got the Archimedes Ledger. Spy! Which allows your siege weapon takes 1 less population, which is actually quite nice. You don't see too much siege weapons on the field. Let's just say there's 5 siege weapons on the field. It means you get 5 spare population. Let's get 2 extra human soldiers. I wonder if that affects destroyers for the Atlanteans. That would be the best case scenario if it does. Rhinoceros has been claimed. Looks like Blue's been eating some delicious rhinoceros meat. So is Red. What how rhinoceros taste in real life? Let's see, you've got the Vault of Erebus queuing on up, and looks like he is actually go for it. He's collecting some favor for it. Costs 15 favor. He has 16. Just needs a little bit more wood. In fact, Hades is going to be rushing out the Vault of Erebus, and maybe a better research to go for before your age up. Let's see, where does it get researched at? Ah, it's no, it's that storehouse there. It may be a good idea to research, try getting this research while you're aging up. As a bit of critique, sometimes, in my opinion, most Age of Empires games you want to go for your age up relatively quickly. We do now have Heimdall being researched, give access to Hare, which is actually the rarest of 3 minor gods for the Norse, isn't it? We rarely ever see Heimdall. Which also gives you the Undermine ability of god power, right? That's a pretty nice god power. Or wait, maybe it's Walking Woods. I always forget. It is Undermine. Undermine's actually a pretty nice god power. Just target location, instantly destroys walls. It also says it affects towers, which can be nice. You know what? Now think about it. That's actually really nice. Imagine, say, you are raiding villagers. They get inside the sentry tower. Pop the god power, immediately eject them, and then murder them. You know, I think this god power actually has quite a bit of raid potential. Not destroying walls, but destroying towers. Crack open towers, get nice juicy insides in the form of villager meat. Maybe it's other Heimdall's other upgrades. I don't know exactly what every single god provides. Let's see. Yep, can't inspect Heimdall anymore. But it may be the other research that is also makes the Heimdall less attractive. I do not know all the minor gods research off the top of my head. I probably should take time to study it all, but that's a lot of things to remember. So a little bit more difficult. You now got the Herseer engaging Ajax. Ajax does have 7.7, 1 attack speed, 209 health. Herseers have 143 health, 8.8, slow attack speed, so effectively 7.3.
Etimos.
So Ajax has more DPS and more health, 40% hack armor versus 20 as well. Thing as well, Greek heroes are very well statted. It's just that you can only get 4 of them. It's one of those limited spawn issues. Red has these goats, might as well send them back home. Like I said, goats are the goat. And they're delicious, like all meat. Looks like Red's gonna be eating some chicken. It probably tastes like chicken. Achilles now pulled in the field. And blue has established secondary town center. Red is now. Red's also now established some raiding cavalry. And blue's advancing forward. Achilles, Ajax, and Norm the Minotaur. This relic could be obtained. This is the one that makes siege weapons retake reduced population. Not a critical relic, but it can be nice. Especially in the late game where every single military population counts. We do now have a lot of Herseers here. Norm the Minotaur will have their trouble here. Achilles is very well statted. It has effectively 10 DPS. And also even more health than Ajax. Ajax does have a little extra range melee, which is not very important. Norm does go down. Looks like Ajax will go down as well. Nice little pick there by Red. We have some raiding cavalry, but we do have a nice bit of palisade walls there to protect blue. Oh, and there's Undermine there. He did use those walls, instantly destroying them. Like I said beforehand, I think it's better to wait for those outposts. Wait, I wonder, does the Undermine affect Sentinels? Sentinels get affected by tower upgrades. Are they classified as towers? Does go on the villagers, very nice. Maybe a good idea to pull out some Sentinels here. It's good that he hasn't deployed out Sentinels. I think people overuse Sentinels as defensive ability. It's good against raids, not good against armies. Blue still has a villager advantage, and also maybe a pop cap. No longer at pop cap. We do now have, let's see, Rigslula increases research or training and research speed. And okay, technology is better as the game goes on, so it's better to help remax. It sort of falls in the same section as Levy. I think the Levy upgrades are usually over research. People research way too quickly, since it's usually just better to deploy a whole nother barracks and trying to research Levy. But it does also improve research speed. I wonder if that improves the upgrade, the age up speed as well, since those may be technically classified as upgrades? Not sure. We do have now Apollo being researched. Give access to Manticore. I do love the Manticore. It is a very powerful DPS myth unit. And looks like Red's going walling in Blue's walls. I do have a bit more of a bias towards ranged myth units, since it's easy to keep them alive, and they generally just do good DPS. Not as good as melee ones, but still, it's easy to keep alive those valuable units. Does take out that villager, and this is the part where I say Undermine would have been very useful. But Reds will not be able to gain the villager meat there. We have a handful of hoplites there, very nice. Storehouse here, he will probably need to get out in Watch Sentry Tower as well. Blue has now aged on up. And Red's backing on, not too far. Medium rating cavalry, very nice. Got hoplites, Achilles, Ajax. May want to go for Odysseus, Chiron. There's the Manticore. Manticore do also have 4.6 movement speed, so they don't slow down too much. Sorry, got a scam call. Looks like Red's obtaining some delicious elephants now. There's some berries nearby. And like in real life, berries are not a great source of nutrition. So if actuality in RTSs, berries have more nutrition than they hold in real life. Yeah, believe it or not, if you ever really sat down and try to look at diet food, berries are actually a good diet food because they actually don't have too much calories in them. A pound of strawberries, something that can easily fill up in a meal, has about 150 calories. Yeah, when the term hunting and foraging is definitely a less priority than hunting. And throughout human history, believe it or not, people did not settle down to farm to get food. They actually settled down to farm for alcohol. Because back then, still, farming was not sustainable. Oh, looks like there's a bit of opening there. Here, let me help remove the gate. Let me just go around. The gate has been destroyed. We do have prerogative being researched, give access to the battle board. Manticore getting some good damage there. The Manticore has 11 damage times 3, so it's 33 DPS. Exceeding range is a decent range. Not long range, not short range, just a medium range. And has a pretty durable amount of health as well, nearly 500. The expensive part of this takes 4 population, 25 favor. A lot of favor, a lot of population space, but 250 wood is not too terribly bad for it, honestly. And does have that charge attack now, that upgrade he just got, giving him the volley fire. What was it called? Or has just a charge attack in general. You see there, charge attack. Which does give him a bit of AoEs, which actually makes it pretty good unit in mass to just take out a massive infantry units, because AoE damage is a good way. It is also a bit of a hard counter to small infantry units. Got some shades being employed in the field. They're not great, but they're free. Beggars can't be choosers. Gatherers and dwarves are trying to run away. You know these forces advanced before. Pretty big mixed force there. Maybe some Hypastis wouldn't be half bad. Because they would counter all the infantry units there. Throwing axemen still classify as infantry. Though they would be countered by throwing axemen since they are also a counter infantry unit. But Hypastis will be effective versus generally everything, barring the myth units. The Hersiers are classified as infantry, so they will be a counter to them. Though we do have 2 Inhari, of course the 1 free battle boar. Inhari doesn't have any upgrades just yet. Let's see. I can't see what research. Oh no, that was Odin, not Heimdall. No, that was Heimdall. Some delicious gazelle being obtained there. I wonder how gazelle tastes. Blue is now establishing a 3rd town center. It does have a fortress here, which also can be used as a target for the sentinels. which is actually really not that useful since, like I said before, Sentinels are good against raiders, not good against full armies, since after all, they're effectively just a tower, a free set of towers, which is also easily overwhelmed by a small force. Loki does have his burning weapons, and that's a very powerful god power. Hades still has all 3 of his god powers. Sentinels, like I said, good against raiders. Restoration is excellent for a single fight. And Notable Passage is a very good mobility god power as well. We got a good number of Huskarls as well as throwing axemen. Huskarls, of course, the counter range unit, which Hades is supposed to be more of the range of the major gods. Now we do have the Underworld Passage here, very nice. Red's army is not too terribly far away. He is going to draw his dwarves towards his army. Got good hoplites here, good journalist heavy infantry for the Greeks. There's the Inhari's battle boost. It's Inspect the Arcantos. And he's just going to fall back away from the Singularity weapons. Does get a free Draugr. Pegasus got shot down, and Blue just going to sack the Underworld Passage, keeping his restoration alive. Bit of a loss there, but he did bait out Burning Weapons, which I think, well, Flaming Weapons, I should say. And Flaming Weapons is a very powerful god power. One of the stronger ones. Improves the damage output by 100%, or maybe just 50%. It's probably 50%. It's very, very good. And lasts for what, 45 seconds? It's a very good long duration god power. It may be worth it. Underworld Passage is a powerful ability, but also can be a bit lacking sometimes. In this case, I think it is a good trade for Hades losing the Underworld Passage to take out Burning Weapons. I put a lot of value in Burning Weapons. Do have now Blue's rotating over here. Burning Weapons has gone down. He can always use Restoration on this army if needed. As well, he has also gone for Apollo, which means he has access to healing temples. Manticore does go down there. Good number of high passes on the build queue, as well as Toxdays, very nice. The Huskarls are a good option. Does bring in the Sentinels somewhere. Not sure where. I think it's up, yep, it's up north because he's getting hit by a raid. Very good. Got some Petrobolos firing away, providing some good fire support. Got the forward infrastructure. It looks like Red's getting overran. Blue has gone from a bit more hub-like opposite to a very powerful generalist infantry unit. If you don't know what type of infantry you should go for as Greeks, hoplites are generally not a bad choice. Red will need to get out some more throwing axemen. I think as well, it's something else as well. Looks like got the copper shields upgrade for Blue. He doesn't need shields to get more against Norse. You can skip the shield upgrade generally. But you're now the age up for Blue, going for Thimble Winter, which means he has access to what's his name? Power. Okay, Blue's trying to stab some little town center right here. Yes, I think just hit the town spell. He does not have watchtowers. Does lose that town center there. More Manticores being summoned. Hades is now aged up as well. Got access to Artemis, which does give access to the powerful, great god power. Champion infantry researched by Loki now. And some of these siege weapons are going down. Manticore gets a nice flank there onto the throwing axemen. Manticore is a very good frontline unit. They also have the powerful burst of fire. Not necessarily fire breathing. Is it considered fire breathing if it's the tail that's breathing fire? Well, either way, I still a bit more of a bias towards the Manticore. He is going for Manticores, very nice. He's also going for Shafts of Plague. give ranged soldiers some poison damage. Blue's getting hit by a large number of these throwing axemen, so Tox Phase and Peltas wouldn't be half bad in this situation. Maybe just Tox Phase, since they all classify as infantry, and will hit other things, but he does prepare for the Huskarls. So he's got throwing axemen, Huskarl, counter range, counter infantry. One thing he's lacking counter is counter cavalry, so maybe he does have. Oh no, those Gobies. So maybe Hades should try getting out some Hippos. And Bred's getting a decent amount of free myth units, and now including the Troll. The Troll decides to troll his opponent by throwing a boulder. Got a number of good amount of high passes here, very good option. Since Hades now 8 and up, he does have his powerful unique crossbowman, which is also a bit of a siege unit as well. Got some units back here. Red's now playing on some raiding cavalry, since some hoplites would be useful. Peltas getting given a general move order. Bit of mistake there, misclick. More high passes push forward. Got 3 cross trying there, so Red's getting a good amount of free myth units. Red and Blue now just trying to pull out more high passes and Peltas. Red's going for more throwing axemen plus Skarls. And iron weapons. Fortified Counselor could receive a bit of repairs. Hades does have more maximum population capability, but just lacking the units themselves. Same thing with Red right now, he's not top cap either. And there's Earthquake. You know, I think it's actually a good idea to summon Earthquake on the housing, because putting opponent at pop cap is a good way to help really steamroll. There's also a bit of an error up there. I'm pretty sure Hades does not have 248. I think it's an error involving the shades. I've got more fortress being established up here. I've got some forward infrastructure here by Red as well. Hoplites, of course, are a little bit better than sieges, since they do have higher melee damage. It looks like he did manage to get the relic for plus troops damage, which is very nice. No, high passes are not too terribly bad against buildings as well. Only 20% less. No, they have slow attack speed, so never mind. I do believe Hades should go for some of his unique crossbowmen, but right now he's lacking gold. That's actually a big problem for him right now. I think he's sold off some resources. Though he has a bit of resources, plenty of wood. Another round of Sentinels here. Just trying to prevent the reinforcements being an issue. Very nice. But these are Huskarls, which have, of course, high range armor. Restoration was utilized on those fights. I don't remember seeing it. Yeah, and this part where Sentinel's not great. Of course, he does not really have too many upgrades go along with him. So their damage is 22 at a slow attack speed. So they're not too particularly great. The Huskarls right now have 71 range armor. Got another round of flaming weapons. That's going to be very, very effective. Looks like Blue has not transitioned to any sort of trade economy, which is a bit of a problem for him. Red is trying to get some ox caravans now on the field. Red's starting to fall back away from Blue's units. Red is also a max of population. That is actually quite important. He does have fortified town centers. He never rebuilt those houses, did he? He lost some houses there, but never had time to rebuild them. That's a bit of a problem. So if I want to click on the Hades houses, yep, 11 out of 16. He's missing 50 population. That's actually quite massive. He did get some free myth units, like a mountain giant here. Of course, he greets us by saying yo. He's clearly from the hood, that mountain giant. or Spanish. We do now have these villagers getting ripped apart there by the old Sarts, so very nice. Blue's getting a little bit desperate, trying to grab that forward gold. He has quadruple town center, so he can get the villagers replaced. Problem is, he is completely out of gold right now, no gold income. Got a lot of extra sentinels over here. And this is the part where Blue's assault is going to really stall. He has no gold income. He has to sell off. And Blue backs the game. The lack of gold ended Blue's. Well, he had such a powerful lead, but he had no gold, so he resigned. The Zangrade saying, "Thank you for watching," and on to the next replay. Yep, ran out of steam, and he was not going to be able to quickly fix that. Some of the colored names. We've seen a decent number of colored names. No idea what that means. Let's see now. Let's try to find another easily rated game. That's okay. Above average. Below average. Below average. Oof. Very not good. Here we go. Hero. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Age Mythology replay. Spawn on top right side as the blue Sprayer, we got Hero. Spawn on bottom left side as the red Odin, we got Pointlessness. When it comes to relics of the map, we do have scales of Catrobellus, gives Mythnos more resistant pierce attacks, so make them resist archers, making this look better. Wu Hao, Bow of Hung Di, increases, gives ranged soldiers a slight snare effect, very nice. We got the Zirang. Walls get a bit of health regen, that's actually quite nice, but also most of the time walls don't usually go down, but they tend, if one set of walls go down, tend to other walls get a bit of damage, so that can be quite nice. We also got the Anvils of Hepatus, gives gold armor, gold technology cost by 50%, that's pretty nice. Don't know, I can't remember how much the exact cost, like 100, then 150, then it's a fair amount of gold. Plus, it just makes you able to obtain it earlier. Nope, got the ravens there. And looks like Blue's going to be aging up with Freyja, so we'll not see Asgardian Bastions. Red is aging up with Heimdall, which gives access to the Inhari, as well as the Undermine ability to undermine your opponent. I wonder if that's actually where that term came from. Oh, either way, both players now age on up. Ravens are scouting around.
Yow.
Valkyrie advancing her way forward. She can also summon a forest fire to do pretty much absolutely nothing. I have no idea what would be a good way to buff the forest fire. Valkyrie pushing pretty far forward, taking a lot towns to the fire. These villagers can easily just go to this sentry tower. And since Valkyries don't have access to Unmind, there's no Sentry Busters. Those two back off there. Red may have a hearse here relatively nearby. Town Center taking a bit of fire there. And it looks like the Gather's going to try to shank the Valkyrie. There's the Undermine ability. Destroys that barracks. No, that's a bit of a waste there. Here's the best case scenario I can see for the Undermine. You get a bunch of raiders. Huh, looks like the temple's getting on fire. Looks like it's a bit of a blackened effect when affected by the forest fire. That's interesting. Assuming it didn't get buffed. What I was trying to say is, I think the best case scenario for the Undermine ability is if you go on a raid, a bunch of villagers get hideaway in a sentry tower, and this says it will instantly kill towers. So you use the instantly kill tower to expose the, you crack the tower open with hard shell to get access to the nice soft interior of the villagers. Quite a bit of forest fire. You know, in real life as well, it's actually very difficult to set fire to a forest that's quite wet wood. Granted, this is a desert, so it's probably a little bit more of the drier wood, even if it's still standing, but still. After all, trees are actually inherently pretty good at resisting forest fires when they are alive and healthy. After all, they contain a lot of water, and as the bark gets heated on up, the reason why you hear that cracking sound is packets of water are boiling and cracks, and it's trying to push the fire away from itself, effectively trying to expel the fire away from it. Got a good number of throwing axemans in the field. It'd be a good idea for both sides to pull out a good number of throwing axemans, because of the this is pretty much everything the Norse has is infantry, barring cavalry and Gobi. Got a number of houses that protect this sentry tower. No watchtower upgrade. Got some Erdmen being employed in the field, which is the spearmen for the Norse.
Tilbuin.
No medium infantry to research by both sides. Red has Lisa queued on up. Got a number of Wolfsarks here. And the nice thing about these guys, they have less range armor, but they don't have to worry about range damage. Of course, they'll still take the nice extra bonus damage of ×3 of the throwing axeman. Number walls going on up. The Valkyrie coming forward for a bit of a scout run. The Dwarf getting stabbed by the Valkyrie. He will get inside the watchtower. Gather is shanking the Valkyrie a little bit. And then Hari does slice up the Valkyrie as well. Let's go for 4 town centers. Looks like just eyeing for a bit of a proxy. You always go for this town center later on. Got a great hall here. It's a very fine hall. And armory going on up as well. Medium infantry research by Blue. Red, I believe, has already researched it. Yes, he has. Red has established another town center here as well. Red right now has more villagers. And there's an ox cart. We do have Rigastula, reduces research time and training times for granted by Heimdall. It's a nice upgrade, but nothing too critical, I'd say. Scaldi being researched, give access to the Frost Giant and to Frost, Huntress, Winter Harvest, and Rhyme in Arctic Winds. There's a Valkyrie, that may be a fresh Valkyrie, she's at full health. Yeah, the other one went down to the Inhare. And looks like I got an H up over here as well. We do have a jerk. Give access to the rock giants. Lots of great halls. So he's eyeing something involving great halls rather than anything involving long houses. So maybe he's going to try to go for Jarls next age? I'm not sure. What's this research? Improves your hero's hit points, allow gods to be trained. Allow goatees to be trained to age earlier, which is not going to be useful when it's aging up. And of course, increases hero's hit point by 10%. So maybe I aim for a hero composition? Red's now trying to establish a forward great hall here. Frost Giant here. It looks like Blue's eyeing for just a hero composition.
Yo.
Right now, let's see what else is affecting. Nothing else affecting the Herseers just yet. Of course, now we've got Tempest here as well as Frost. And Blue's going for a very large number of Herseers. Got the Rock Giant here. Red's right now going for the Heavy Cavalry. Going for another great hull. A very fine hull indeed. Got the Rock Giant pushed before. The Herseers may just want to be tasked off to engage it. He's also going for the stone walls upgrade to clearly stone-ish walls. Also going for the Feast of Renown. Of course, gives you a bit of food generation for Hill Fort and Town Center. Red's not going for some Great Jarls. Great Jarls are just a journalist beefy cavalry. And those the Frost Giant will go down. Seeing all these Herseers and eventually Gobies, he really should not be eyeing any myth units to Red. He's going for some zone Gobies, throwing Axeman a good call. Great Jarls is probably generally pretty good generalist units here. Right now they're doing 14 damage, just round up, costing 130. These Herseers comparison do have... Their DPS is not great, but they do have a bit of help with them. They engage here, got the Rock Giant taunting, and now got the Tempest. And we've got Frost to engage as well. Red's going to take time to fall back, maybe? Don't want to take a lot of damage from the Tempest. Gillen Versetti now pulling in field. Gillen Versetti is classified as a hero, not a myth unit. Gillen Versetti will last a bit of time, at the same time as Frost, whatever's remaining. He will focus on Gillen Versetti. There's going to take time to fall back. Gillen Versetti did a bit amount of damage there. And some of these units have been thawed out from the Tempest. And we do also now have the Granite Maw. Turning its Rock Giants to Granite Giants. We do also know the Huntress Axe, giving throwing Axemen increased range by 1 and make them have very good tracking. I think the throwing Axemen will be very nice here. The tracking is a little less important in big engagements, but it always is quite nice to have. Also, in range is not going to be super important. So we need to focus down that Rock Giant. These Gobies are, of course, they're a ranged soldier, not a ranged infantry. And a good number of these wall seconds going down. Very nice. These allegedly stone walls. More of these granite giants being pulled in the field. Raiding cavalry is probably a very good idea for red right now, helping engage the Gobi and the throwing axemen. More rock giants being pulled in the field. We do now have the winter harvest, makes his villagers gather food faster. And right now, blue does have a much larger force in the field and much higher quality as well. Red's starting to transition to some farming. There's some berries here. That's about it for food. Almost fully fattened neutral goats. Raven could be brought over here to put a bit of scouting around, but there's too many range units there. He'll just get shot down. Who's now pulling out some portable rams? Rock giants. This one has not too much remaining health, but do have a bit of health for Jed. You know, Gobi throwing axemen there. Gobi just really need to focus on these rock giants. Rock giants do have a decent amount of crush damage. Looks like these guys are eating the structures. The rock giants are being probably focused on by the Gobi there. Very nice. Some Jarls been pulled in the field as well. All the rock giants have gone down. And we've got some blue Jarls pulling the field. Got great Jarls versus just Jarls. Who's now researching the thundering hooves. Undermine there to undermine the hill fort's structural integrity. Best get OSHA involved at this point in time. Blue's actually pull out some, or Red's trying to pull out some frost giants. I disagree with that. There's too many heroes on the field I think they really warrant to allow them to be useful. I just say save the favor up for other, and probably go for fire giants. Got around a hearse here to push way forward. These hill forts are starting to go on down. And blue's now queued on up Vidar to get back to the Fafnir. Red has a large military force in the field. Blue right now has a great amount of gold, just needs more food to age on up. Red has a bit of a stockpile of food and gold with some wood, nothing too significant though. And now Blue's have more medium cavalry. Jarls can squid his enemies throwing axemen. Both of Red's frost giants do go down now. And Red is right now just pulling out more and more Jarls. Fort does go down there. There's not researching fortified town center. This one time, both players need to pull out some more Erdmen, Spearmen. Red is trying to pull out some Erdmen. Blue's going for just more Jarls and Goaties. And there is another Tempest being summoned by Blue, trying to win this fight with this Tempest. Overall, Red does have pretty good grass in this region. Another undermine there to undermine his opponent. Takes out that 10 center of Blue trying to build now. Blue just may need to fall back, just get reinforcements. He does have his gold being put on up. Red's also taking this gold over here. Sorry about that. My drink is going down the wrong pipe. Both players are aging up now. We do have now Baldur being researched, give access to the Fire Giant and to Ragnarok. Blue's, of course, going for Vidar to get access to Fafnir into the Firestorm. Sorry about that. Red trying to obtain his Santos will give him a pretty good population advantage. Got an Ulf Sark here being pursued. Just send off one Jarl to pursue him. Red's making some good progress. Blue's trying to regroup back here, but it has not too much infrastructure back here. It's going for some old Sarks. With the amount of Jarls in the field, I think it would be good to go with the Erdman. My apologies. We do now have another hill fort going on up. Good number of Jarls push way forward. Blue does not have too much defense. He's a good number of heavy Erdmen. Does PL some of them. There's Fafnir, a very powerful dragon that will give his opponent gold on death in exchange for his oversized overstats. Jarl's pushing the way forward. Does mean some of these Jarls there. Blue's trying to lose some villagers. And now do have the Fury of the Fallen, give the Death Boost ability. Red is now trying to pull some Fire Giants, one of my favorite myth units. Probably my favorite myth unit for the Norse. They are a very effective ranged myth unit with a bit of crush damage to go along with them as well. Their range is not super great, but 14 range is still very adequate. Yeah, a very good amount of favor sorting up from the previous engagements, so he's able to bring in a very large number of Fire Giants. There's the Firestorm. Let's see where it goes. How much damage will the Firestorm do to Fire Giants? A fair amount of damage there. All Sarks need to start hitting those. Fire Giants need to start those All Sarks. They will clean them up. That was expensive gunpowder to use on a handful of Fire Giants. He will have more shortly. Red does have some, a lot of core dwarves there. You can always pop Ragnarok. He does also have a good number of Ox Caravan, so he does have other combos going in case he does use Ragnarok. Very nice, not a pop cap though. Fafnir is about to go on down. Looks like Fafnir will stay back, and a bit of health for Jen, but it'll take forever to get healed on up. Whereas right now, PopCap could push forward. He's in a very good position there. I think somehow, if he goes with Ragnarok, he will have a nice little flank of units there, and plus with 4 councilors, he will quickly refill the villagers as it starts getting freed up population space. Right now, he doesn't have too much stockpile resource to really be a good idea to go for a Ragnarok. All starts to move forward. Good number of these all starts are going down to throwing axemen. But let's all starts to manage just punching their way through. Another fire giant there, that should be particularly effective versus these old starts. All starts move forward, you're all just trying to hold the line. Got good enough throwing axes here. Right now this is only heavy, not shooting field. More fire giants explode in the field. And it looks like Blue does back the game now. This Android saying, thank you for watching, and on to next replay. One person deserving this game. What's this game? Not important. Nope. Let's see now. That may be the lowest rank score I've seen so far. Okay, keep an eye on that one, because I have not seen anybody else. I could do that one. Yeah, let's just do it. Anything shorter and may not be a super great replay. I know I have at least guaranteed 12 minutes. By the way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Grid here from another Age Mythology replay. Spell on top left side as the blue Poseidon. We've got Duke as Charbal. I have no idea how to pronounce that. On the bottom right side as the red Odin. We've got Owl52, who's using the classic skin for Odin. Got some goats, they are the goats. When it comes to relics on the map, we do have the arrows of Hercules, giving the attack range of increased attack of ranged soldiers and heroes. Blah, I can't think right now. I have a headache going, I think it's allergies. Got Hermana's necklace, give villagers gold plus 10% gold collection rate. Very nice. We do have adamantine shingles, give houses plus 200% hit points. And we do also have the nose of the Sphinx, giving the increased building hit points 50%. Question, I think you could probably put the storehouse in between the two and get both the wood and the gold. But I understand you want to try to get as close to the woods as possible to increase the collection rate. Got some boars and now gatherers, more villagers of course, pretty much standard, early eco. Temple going on up. And now there's a pair of ravens. We've got the AH up, we got Freyja to give access to Valkyrie and to the Forest Fire God Power. Forest Fire God Power is maybe one of the worst God Powers in the entire game. I generally have a hard time trying to think of what's a worst God Power. There's a free Valkyrie. And going for some basic walls there. There's a decent amount of natural cover here, so you can go for a basic set of walls there. Scout is causing issues. Scout has horrible DPS. Not even a DPS. We now have the Winged Messenger, giving a free Pegasus ever so often, plus gives increased move speed and line of sight of your Pegasus. Very nice. Poseidon has aged up to Hermes, get access to Centaur, and also Ceasefire. I suppose on this map, with the number of possible openings, the Forest Fire could create a bigger opening. But that's about it. Got some walls here. Huh, there's not too many berries here. Or, wait, no, the berries in groups of 3 and 4. Yeah, the berries just sort of spawned weird. Actually, no, it says this is 2 berries. Okay, that's 2 berries. We do now have the Forest Fire there. Does actually manage to kill a villager. And now burning some down these houses. Red's being a bit of a homewrecker. Destroys a house there, giving 2 free militiamen. Militiaman does get burned up. Oh, did they actually buff Forest Fire? They may have buffed Forest Fire since last time I checked. And even then, it's still very situational. The Scout has such a low DPS, the Herseer gets a decent amount of health regen to fight against it. Scout is down, not a big surprise. Got Atlantia, the fast hero, with Jason, or Theseus. Theseus probably should be split off with the militiaman, while the cavalry can go along with Atlantia. This is the Hippus that got burned up a little bit. You can see he's a little bit darker, not necessarily scorched. Just being a little bit underdone, to say the least. We do have now Dionysus queued on up for blue. Atlantia taking some damage there. Right now the Valkyrie moves at 5.1. Atlantia moves at a speed of 5.3, while the Cavalry moves at 5.8. She does manage to escape the snare effect. Raiding cavalry now advancing. Blue has some walls, just not too many of them. Forcefire did deny this tree deposit, so it makes it so he has a bit more of a dangerous tree location. Red's push forward with a good number of raiding cavalry. Do now have Dionysus queued on up, going for medium cavalry and Lord of Horses. Taking time to kill off the gazelles, which will start degrading. I think it also gives Red a little bit of favor. More emphasis on the little part. But this is going to be quite a bit of degradation. Just a bit of rot. Blue's now pushed way forward with a good number of cavalry. Has pulled off the Hippus and the militia. Not Hippus, the militiaman and Thesis. Raiding cavalry push way forward. Villagers to evacuate to the town center. We got the Herseers, cancels of the town center there. We also have now Scaldi being researched as well. Dionysus will be researched first. You have a Hydra to hail. And access the bronze. Scaldi will give access to the Frost, a giant stasis ability, which is a good way to zone out bronze if he wants to zone out bronze. Militiamen chasing down these infantry units or cavalry units. They do have 50% bonus damage versus cavalry. And it's cleaned up all the gold here. Hydra moving around. Looks like Blue's going to start falling back. Blue's not going for the toxic phase. You also spot all the downed fauna there. Hydra will get some hits there onto the Valkyrie, getting, of course, double damage. Notice the Valkyrie will be thrown away, giving the Hydra a second head as well, and that's how you get head. Villagers here, they do, of course, not build a wall sitting on top of the relic, which actually is fully traversable land. Now, multiple elephants being obtained, very nice. They may go for some of these villagers. It looks like the Hippus got a lot of free hits there. If Red keeps on building the raiding cavalry, Blue can go pull out some Podromos, which he is starting to build some Podromos. And now Red's now advancing forward on the right flank as well. Good number throwing Axemen, more raiding cavalry, Herseers, Gobi, her Elfzarks, and the Frost Giant. This force doing a good job distracting Blue. Red does also have more military units in the field. They have similar villager numbers at the moment. More Podromos and throwing and archers being blown up by Blue. It looks like Red getting tied up on a little bit of terrain there. We'll lose some of these raiding cavalry. Just stuck in formation. And Red may just try to grab this town center. Red is grabbing that town center and breaking down this wall. Some of these units, structures may go down. Do now the cavalry straight forward. Medium Podromos, a good counter cavalry unit. As well as when the structures start going down, some militiamen will spawn. Militiamen do scale with infantry upgrades as well, which I think he has none. Blues push way forward. The one burnt, crispy, medium hip is still in the field as well. And Blue's trying to transition to the farms, not trying to grab the fauna up here, so a bit of a turtle in for the Poseidon player, which may not be great. It means Red's going to have better economy and has to have less expenditure on getting up those other food sources. And Red may lose some villagers here. Looks like Blue hunted some lions. Of course, in Retold, carnivores do not hunt villagers and other units. In the original Age of Mythology, carnivores did in fact hunt your units that went by. But bears, for example, were pretty rich in food, like 300 food. Ward Fortress being established by Blue here, and then Paul can get the school deposit going. Red has set from forward walls here, and now push forward some old Starks and throwing axemen. Still only has medium infantry upgrade. Red is also bringing some battering rams here, but the militiamen are going to cause some issues, and there's a ceasefire to give them some more breathing room. Blue are here. Forward longhouse being established now. Blue does have a decent force here, including the Hydra, who has 2 heads. Cavalry push right forward, and now Red's going to counter out Bronze, or push out Bronze. Red can or blow out Frost to stop the army if he so chooses, but it's going to just fall back to the fortresses there and the town center to get some extra fire support. Bring the Frost there. Frost does also increase the armor up to now from 99 to up to 100%, so there should do no damage or 1 damage per strike. They also added now sound effects, so they don't play play different sound effects with the Frost. But also it is at 100%, so. But I didn't realize they had a sound effect for Bronze. That's very nice. Of course, Red's trying to pull out more units there. Blue has been walled out as well. And the Hydra is frozen there by the Frost Strike. Very nice little pick there.
Έτοιμος.
There's not push way forward. Blue's army is still trying to rotate around. You have now Blue's 4 fortified town centers here. Town center taking a bit of damage from these various sources. Blue's army's completely on up. Those extra units are falling back now. Another cavalry now pushing forward over here. Red does have 2 mountain dragons here. Only Thesis remains. I think Hippolyta is still alive yet. She's still alive up in the north. I don't see a Lanty on the field. Of course, as more structures start going down, the more militiamen blue will get out, but blue is losing a lot of infrastructure here. It also needs non-villagers, and blue decides to resign from the game. This Android saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started on the next replay, I do need to utilize the restroom. Please give me a moment. My apologies, I am back. Also got myself a drink. Let's see now. Nope, we can do better. Oh, here we go. That should do. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Age Mythology replay. So on the bottom right side as the blue Zeus, we have Lore 3. Spot on the top left side as the red Ra, we got Isio Marto. And this is a hybrid map. There's this amount of fishies in the middle of the map, as well as set 3 here and here, so it's more or less a plus. Be a good idea to get a dock on the edges, but we will see some fishing play from both sides, so it's probably gonna be delayed age up. One way to help counter out the fishing play is to actually destroy the docks, but probably gonna have to be age 2 for that. Storehouse is going on up. Of course, Red doesn't have to worry about building all that stuff. Can immediately get going, so he does have a little advantage there. Putting some obelisks on the flanks, just keep some good spotting there. Now this decides to queue up their next god, but both players are going to be pretty far from aging up. There's probably going to be a massive naval fight there. Don't think there's any age... Yeah, I can't think of any age 2 myth units that both sides can put on the field. The only age 2 myth unit I can think of on the top of my head is the Servant or the Atlanteans. I suppose you can also technically say there's the Hippocampus, the Poseidon Scout, which is a bit of cheating there. Blue has put out a dock down south. We'll have a good drop-off point there. And now we do have an age up. Once we got Bast, give access to Sphinx and to the Eclipse God Power, right? We could see some sort of form of fast age up for Ra to get access to the ancestors, right? Can Ra get Scorpion Men? I can't remember. I suppose both Sea Snakes and ancestors wouldn't be half bad, but I think sea snakes would do less damage for fishing ships since they're probably classified as a villager. At the end of our research, we do now have a Pegasus on field, so we're probably going to see some military ships. We do have some triremes and hammer ships there. The Pento Contour. We also got some other archer ships for the Egyptians. I can't tell you all the differences between archer ships. I've rarely ever cast water maps or hybrid maps. So let's see. Kebent has 8 damage, 3 arrows, 1.5 attack speed. Okay, looks like I think they just stay inside all the naval units. So it does have less health.
Έτοιμος.
Same armor.
Πρόσταγμα.
90, 45, 150. So is some slight differences, but I think the differences are a lot less extreme. We got good number of hammer ships here. 25.5, 320, 350. Another case of more health and more expense. Hammer ships engaging some of the fish ships. Do now some war barges here.
Έτοιμος.
Ships have really low crush armor, so the crush damage is quite effective. One of the few times crush damage is effective versus infantry units.
Λέγε.
See, war barges do have lack of hack armor, so basically it goes siege ships good against arrow ships versus good against hammer ships good against siege ships, as the triangle rock paper scissors. Restoration not being blown on the field, very nice. Eclipse is not be useful. It looks like Red just will manage to get a pretty sizable advantage, has all these naval vessels, and Blue just can't contest. This dock does have 6 damage per its arrow, so it's decent, but probably not decent enough. And there's a Sphinx, but Jason will be slicing apart the Sphinx. Yep, the Sphinx will go down to Jason. Managed to escape on out of there. Now we've got all these docks going on down. So red will claim the water. Blue could decide for cavalry raids and start engaging. Got a decent number of these houses there to surround the gold deposit. Very nice. And the single priest will heal up the Sphinx. Additionally, these priests can go ahead and power these docks because he is raw. So I have these fishing boats up here. Rob right now is lacking food, even though he does have a good number of fishing boats. And looks like some more of these fishing boats are starting to go on down. Siege ships need to start engaging up there. Blue's going to go for a secondary town center, help even out the civilian count. You notice well the civilian count number up here does not calculate. Something got bolted. Maybe the Sphinx got bolted. Well, there's one Sphinx. There's the Creo Sphinx. Has access to both or to one upgrades. Minotaur has gone down. There goes Nora. Hercules can club that Sphinx. So there's the other Sphinx upgrade now. Now the Hero Cross Sphinx. Scout is down. Not a big surprise. Now Blue's going to try to go for another round of military ships. If Blues pays close enough attention, you will see a good number of siege ships. You'll see a lack of arrow ships, so you best go for hammer ships. And go hammer time. Raw does have access to the rain god power, but since he is not going to be doing farms anytime soon, he has plenty of fishing boats as well as some piggies. He has plenty of food, probably some other sources of food still he always can claim, like this set of delicious fauna. Yep, and Blue's going to pull out some good number of hammer ships. Just get an army on the field, don't reveal himself just yet. How is... Let's... He sees a dock, he sees the hammer ships. He no longer has vision of it. I don't know if Red actually has realized it. So looks like I think he's issued a garrison order. Yep, looks like he's garrisoning up these hammer ships inside. He has a very good C3, 2, 2. He has enough hammer ships, dismount, and charge. And here comes the hammer ships. He does have a number of arrow ships here. Arrow ships do have a mix of armor. Maybe something you should do is like change the sound effects, because right now it's the hammer ships have a similar sound effect to other units. But either way. Good number of arrow ships being going field. Blue's just still pulling out hammer ships. Got more arrow ships being established. Which now Blue needs to get out some siege ships. % range armor is a good way to resist all this siege or melee damage. Or 50% melee armor, blah. There's some siege ships now push way forward. He's lost most of the hammer ships now. Now we've got hammer ships being pulled off by Red, since he knows this counter to his, all his arrow ships were the hammer ships. So now we need to see some arrow ships by Blue, and arrow ships plus arrow ships perfectly fine. And now we do have Age of Hurrah. He's gone for the Citadel, which means he has access to Scarabs. I'm also less seen Scarabs. The Sword of Spies also going to go for Scorpion. He may not have access to Scorpion. Don't know what the other god is. Heracross Sphinx are getting killed off by Jerison and Hercules. That's probably one of the worst engagements those Heracross Sphinx could take. We do now have Dionysus being queued up, which is just no. Dionysus does not give access to Skyless anymore. Red does have the Leviathan. Wait, isn't now like the naval myth units just always? Yeah, gives access to Hydra, but is Skylar part of another god, or is it just now generically available? I can't remember. I think it's available available to Aphrodite. Because before in regular Age of Mythology, Skyless were also available to Dionysus, since they are basic sea hydras. Red's now pulling forward mid-gold, strong gold, which is probably trying to grab that gold deposit. So yeah, the Skyla is a generic Greek myth unit now. We do have Horus being researched. Top lights push away forward. And of course got Heracross Sphinx, which will get blocked by Hercules. Scarab is of course a good living siege weapon. Has no hack armor. Hectate's horses could be researched to get more god powers available. Town center here has not been claimed by anybody just yet. Blue has claimed this town center, so it has triple town center versus red just singular. Or no, red does have two, just this one does not have auto queue villagers. Which may have been a misclick there. Hydra is getting ripped apart there by the priests. And going for a bunch of Axemans to engage all the hoplites, very nice. As well some chariot archers. I hear a lot of houses being built by blue. Maybe red should pull back some of his naval units and get to a nearby priest to get them healed on up. Blue's pushing forward, got the scarab here, which will explode. Even though it doesn't have much hack armor, it will make the units that use hack damage feel the pain.
Έτοιμος.
Bone Bow makes chariot archers have +2 maximum range. That's pretty nice. Which is available to Skemet. The rarest of the three minor gods for age 3 for the Egyptians, I would say. So, +2 range chariot archers, not too terribly bad. Goes from 19 to 21. That's pretty good. Greece does get ripped apart there. Axemen push way forward. Blue's now snag a 4th town center. Red is only still building villagers for 1 town center. And we do now have horseman research. Get back to the Avenger, Twister, or Tornado. Blue's, of course, not aging up anytime soon. Has a good number of Hypasis or Peltas and Tuxdays and Hoplites. On some various copper research, going for the levies. And with this fortress here, he will be able to age up, at least get his age up going. Got a good number of trade archers and axemen. There's Bronze and Twister the counter. Pretty good time for Twister. Always think it's hard to use Twister, but this is a massive Twister. Restoration, they were all very good, a very good restoration. Avenger, might have trouble versus Jason. That was a very good Twister, but the restoration was a good counter to help recover. Avenger getting ripped apart. Scarab getting some good damage from the fortress, but does go down. Champion trade archers being queued on up and not being researched. More axemen being deployed in the field. But right now, Pelt has to be good at a call there. Trade archers are at 2 range. Any other upgrades? Nope, nothing special. Right now, Zeus has a massive stone stockpile. And these +2 range is going very nice. Right now, the trade archers have 21 range. These Toxays have 15 in comparison. That is a massive range of it. Peltas, they actually will outrange Peltas. But Peltas should still be able to get a shot off by simply just walking forward a little bit before the arrow connects. .21 range is actually quite staggering. That's very, very good range. You should definitely get a flaming arrow resource as soon as you can to help them deal with the buildings. And they'll be basically similar to the Hades Galstrip Peltas, speedy, so whatever his unique crossbow units, which I think they have 22 range, but they also have really good, inherently good siege to damage, which I think in total they get like times 11, something quite absurd. They're actually a pretty good siege unit. Speaking of siege units, Brawl does have some catapults here. Pegasus took a bit of fire there. Hoplites push forward, taking out the catapults. Those take out one of the military academies, not the other. Jason quickly goes on down. Champion Trade Archers now pulling the field. They have slow attack speed, but good damage and good range. They're a good backline unit. Just needs a proper frontline unit. Got Toxace and probably passes here. Camel is probably the best frontline to get. Maybe some slingers, but overall the camel riders are definitely a good call. Yeah, camel riders are definitely a good call. Zeus will need to get out some Prodromos. Overall, Prodromos would be a good call. Hoplites will also be a good call. But he also is lacking shields. Another restoration has been summoned. Very nice. Trade Archers just try to get on out there. Trade Archers only have a movement speed of 5, so they're not too particularly fast for a mounted unit. Does get inside the fortress there with the Cam Riders there. Camel Riders trying to hit those pole tasks. Trade Archer could just be a move forward, provide some fire support. At this point in time, he's lacking Toxace, so some Axeman would be a good item now that Nick's on in. Blue's trying to go from that town center once again. Red does have a lot of mid-goal strongholds over here. Trade Archers need to be sort of stepped over, trying to engage those top lights. Let the camera archers break forward. Town center does get built. Camera Archers needs good damage there. Red's trying to pull out some more catapults. Right now, Red's lacking gold. There's plenty of food and wood. Catapults push forward, sitting on that town center. Takes out that fortress there. More peltasts being pulled in the field. Town center can't take too much abuse. Does go down there. The catapult will go down in return. Red's also pulling out a good number of camel caravans, trying to get his trade economy going. You may want to go to where the camel caravan is coming out of and empower them with either Priest or a Sparrow. Priest can be good interim unit since he is raw. He does have a lesser empowerment with his Priests. Red's consumed his resource reserve, has these amount of wood and gold in storage, which could allow him to get some other stuff. Yeah, highlighting those units there. He's going for more champion trade archers because that's what he can afford. We do now have Hepatis being researched, give access to Colossus and Plenty Vault. Jason does go down once again. Left flank's just a little bit idle. Oh, looks like some of Red's units have misrallied. Oh no, that's a purposeful rally. Very nice. Hoplites try and push the way forward once again. Trade archers will keep their distance and engage the hoplites as they try to siege down the Miko struggle. This village could help out with a bit of repairs. Got the nice restoration deployed out once again. High pass system of Peltas been doing a good job warding away the chariot archers. Very nice. Red could deploy another citadel over here, giving more population space to work with, as well. Yeah, just generally more population space to work with. But you may need to save another twister in order to help deal with this force, because I think he needs to get out more axemen right now. There's now some plenty vault. Very nice. It's quite plentiful. He does have 9 villagers on favor as well. 8 is a soft cap, so it'd be a good idea to start getting that out. Try to get out second plenty vaults, because plenty vaults are very good, and the second plenty vault only costs 200 to favor, rather than 400. The third one costs 400. Plenty vault is definitely designed to be you deploy out 2 plenty vaults per game, with the option boom for 3. Camera riders here. Trying to harass some of these villagers there. Got some piggies here, fully fattened. We do now have the champion upgrades being researched by Zeus. Camera trying to hit these Pel Pass. Right now, I think Blue's doing better with the counter system than Red is. Like I said, I think Axeman will be quite good. It'll counter out the Axeman, while Pel Pass will not counter Axeman, and vice versa. Just not going for iron upgrades. Blue's trying to push his way forward. We have a number of these units. I hear a bit of death down there. Blue's now trying to follow some donkey caravans. Villagers starting to go on down.
Έτοιμος.
Trade Archer is basically there, but got the
Λέγε.
Hoplites pretty forward. Hoplites actually have pretty good move speed right now, 4.9 versus the 5 move speed of Chariot Archers. Chariot Archers only have the range to work with, not a real movement advantage. Tasman's getting a range of these units.
Έτοιμος.
Getting some good hits down there. Of course, with Zeus's plenty vault, he will get, of course, get a good stockpile of gold, or income of gold, and the second plenty vault's almost available. It may be a good idea for him to just go mass plenty vault if possible. At the current rate, Colossus will not be half bad. Colossus would be a pretty good beefy frontline. You know, speaking of which, I don't think we've seen his original Colossus spawn on the field. You now some of these villagers being hit by these camel riders. That force is being forced on back by the Chargers, but now the hoplites engaging the camel riders. So got relics on the field as well. Pandora's box. That of course can make your myth units cheaper, but he's not really on the pull out myth units. We got that Scarab Pendant, which does more crush damage for your siege weapons, which could actually be quite nice here. And up here we got the 9 Cauldrons, increase hack and pierce armor of soldiers trained at fortress type building. Let's see, for raw, that would be... Any re-click on that? But it could, it says fortress type units, so... Yeah, that would have gotten him more armor, hack armor. It's not just infantry, it affects all fortress non-siege units. So that could have got him a little extra hack and pierce armor, which would have been very nice. It's a big oversight there, I would say.
Into you.
We do also has a relic down here. There it is. It is, yeah, Hectic Torches, which makes your God's powers cheaper and more spammable, which would have been useful for Zeus since he's big upon a good number of restorations. And would have got his more plenty bolts in the field. So yeah, I think both players have failed in collecting the relic department because all the relics are pretty good right now. And I'm pretty sure Red has not started empowering his markets there as well. That would increase the gold drop-off from the caravans, I'm pretty sure. Jason pushing forward over there. Red is holding on, but I still feel like Red's in a worse position, though he's got closer to pop Captain Blue. Blue does have good number of town centers, however. The higher maximum population. And now we do have the Heliopolis being pulled in, so Blue's trying to bring his own siege weapons. Very good. Does offer a good volley of siege damage from the Heliopolis. 60 crush damage with DPS. We've got also Petropolis here, which does do 33 crush damage DPS. Odysseus is taking a lot of abuse. Odysseus does go down there. Pharaoh number 3 has been deployed on the field. Now got multiple siege weapons pushed way forward. Now has 2 of these Heliopoli. Villagers try to collect the wood. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. Red's ground arm is fully on back. Having trouble from numbers. And I still believe Red should have then deploy out Axemen, but at this point in time, I think he's set on camels and chariot archers. And we do have some Colossus upgrades. We've got the Silver Colossus. Oh yeah, Colossi. That's the plural term for Colossus. Rather say Colossuses or Coloss people. The number of villagers getting some hits. More damage there. Blue's making some great headway there. Destroying. Whoops, I clicked on the button there. Destroying the Citadel would be very, very good. Since that basically would be a permanent loss for Red. He almost has enough another tornado, but it would be too particularly useful this moment. Blue's going to do a good job maintaining max out population. Red is struggling a little bit. Of course, the opponent is helping out with that by destroying housing, preventing him from reducing his max population cap. And I got a number of trade archers here. That should be enough to protect his forces there. He may not have boiling oil available.
In what?
Now with some scaffolding being cancelled there. Villagers trying to now shank the Heliopoli, and villagers do have bonus damage for siege weapons, 50%, going from 6 damage to 9 damage. How devastating. Red does have access to the incendiary arrows, so he can use them to fight the structures. And also as well, they have max range of 20. These guys have max range 21, so they will outrange a fortress. There's a catapult there, which does have good impact crush damage, doing 50 crush per second. So Heliopoli does have higher siege damage, but of course has much shorter range, and also alive as opposed to being dead. Another restoration being put on field. Really should have got the Hectic's Torches relic. That's what, the 4th or 5th one this game? Quite a decent number of them. Citadels were going down. Commander Shepherd to be unhappy. There goes his favorite store. Miss Angrade saying, "Thank you for watching," and on to the next replay. Let's see, I have time for one more replay tonight. My headache actually started going away a little bit. And let's see now. Oh, I think this is a good player. Yes. Greetings everyone, and great here with another Age Mythology replay. Spawn on the north side as the blue Oranos. We got Aces, Hux, Soap, however you pronounce that. Spawn on the bottom right side as the red Ra. We have Woo Woo, Lucky Bomb. We do have some citizens, of course, queued on up. They're going to do their part. And of course, these laborers as well. That's just pretty much standard. Why do I even mention that? Spawn on the right relic, we got the Blanket of Empress Zoe, giving siege weapons more resistance to crush attacks. Or no, buildings are more resistant to crush attacks, so it's a bit more resistant to siege. Nice. Usually, it's a little bit middling. Sometimes it seems like buildings are either alive or dead, never really in between. We got Kiritha of Apollo, making villagers 10% faster. That's actually very useful for both civilizations, because it will help out. It'll help citizens escape out of the threat, but also very useful raw for, say, the wood collectors and any other, as well as farming, so they get a faster drop-off time. That is a pretty good economic relic for the Egyptians, as well as a good survivability relics for the citizens. We got a Girdle of Hippolyta, gives ranged soldiers have plus 10% hit points, very useful for almost everything. And the Scarab Pendant, giving all siege weapons more crush damage, so we got crush damage and crush armor. Alrighty then. Let's see now. Of course, got the temple going on up. Temple is up, and we do have Prometheus. I recommend you play with fire. That's what Prometheus teaches us, how to play with fire. And looks like we do have Fa being researched, give access to Wadjet, as well as Shifting Sands is the better part. I do not value Wadjets as a myth unit. I hate Wadjets. I hate them. They just feel like they're really, really weak. And I think they're actually weaker from even than the original Age of Mythology. I think it's one of the myth units that got nerfed for some odd reason. So that's just maybe just my perception of them. I just hate Wadjets. They didn't get a buff like the trolls. Though they are a bit more fancy with their wings, as opposed to tiny little bat wings. There's shifting... Oh! Whoa! That shifting sands was a short-range teleport just at the village's town center. Oh. How to put this horribly. I think we gotta try hard raw player to get the expansion going. And that's probably me putting it horribly, because, like, that does not seem worth it to me at all. Is that really worth it? I have no idea if that's worth it. Please tell me in the comments. If you're in the watch stream, would you have done that? I wouldn't. But this is a very high level. I think these are... I think Hooks Up is like 1984, not reference to the book. I think that's his elo when I'm casting this game. I assume his opponent is a similar elo level as well. Is that something that's only valuable at highest elo level? I have no idea. Well, the Oracle gets shanked and stoned to death. Sounds like San Francisco.
Skopos.
Got a relic obtained. It is a Girdle of Hippolyta. Gives his reinforced more hit points, so that'll affect his Turmas, his Argus Archers, and Chariot Ballistas. I just don't like Turmas. They don't feel like they are worth it, in my opinion. I understand the high mobility. That's the only good thing about them. They have high mobility being a mounted unit. But I don't value them too highly. But these players are much better than I, so whom am I to argue? Of course, they are good against ranged units, and the ranged units that the Egyptians put on this field are slingers, who are good against ranged units. So I recommend just not deploy out slingers. And surprisingly enough, spearmen are pretty mobile as well, so spearmen will outrun these Turmas and counter them as well. Of course, they are a ranged mounted unit there, so pretty good at kiting. Their attack speed is horrible at 1.8, one of the slowest attacking units in the game. The Pharaoh took a bit of damage there. He is a ranged unit, but not a ranged unit. Villagers standing and fighting. Taking some bit of damage there. Wadjet rolling some missteps. Does heroic valor one of them there to get the full here, but it does go down. You got a good number of villagers there. And Blue's going back himself into a corner. This is not traversable land. Oh, he does not go over there. Okay, good. Wadjet engaging. Wadjet being okay this engagement. But it's always okay, reasonable to be okay when you are not being attacked. And looks like the villagers going to be collecting up that caribou, getting some delicious reindeer. And the rest of the terms falling back. He did a pretty good raid there, but blue or red still has 2 town centers. And blue's being aggressive here. Got some Promethean as well as the more medium Turmas. Going for a market here. We don't have barracks in the field. We do have 2 barracks in the field. Villager getting punched in the face by the clay man. The market will go down, so he does not like the market economies. Got it. Here's the spearmen. Right now they only have movement speed of 5. I think that's some other upgrades can get to make them going faster. Also got the leather frame, improving spearmen resistance to pierce attack. Particularly useful in this situation. Wadjet taking some damage there. More Wadjets pouring in the field. And that's just a large number of Turmas. One thing Red could do to stop these aggression is actually point on watchtowers, since nothing much Turtles can do versus them. You still have to be careful about these Promethean. Priests do have a ranged attack, but they only classify as hero, not as ranged units, so Turtles will not do bonus damage versus them. Here comes the Spearman. So got Gundam and Promethean, a pretty beefy frontline unit since they can disintegrate into 3 units. This is Offspring with 96 health, the full health ones who have 210 health. So they go from 210 health to almost 300 health by dying. That was a good frontline unit for these Turmas. As much I harp against Turmas, Blue's doing quite well with them. Well, that's probably because of the sheer numbers of them. And they were fighting against villagers. And they somewhat were losing against them. More oracles are now being employed in the field by Blue, which help him with his favorite generation, so maybe I'm just for more Prometheans. Oranos does not have access to automatons, so if you're thinking about, maybe we should go for automatons, he does not have access to automatons. He has access to the Caladrias or to Prometheans. Temple now being under fire, and he does have a priest here. Got another Spearman. He could delete the temple to break on through, but that's actually opening there. Temple will be destroyed, which will set free the increased villager movement speed relic, which actually probably allowed him to actually why the villagers did so well versus those Turmas, because they had decent movement speed. We got some now Gundam Medium Chair Ballista, a good counter infantry unit. It has 3.3 damage, 5 times 5 multiplier versus infantry. Fires across 4 arrows. And now here comes the Spearmen. I didn't see them going up there. Citizens. Duke inside the manor. I think also inside the Sentry Tower. Chariot Ballista will get a good volley there. Of course, they do have relatively low accuracy. And now do have Sobex, getting some Pet Sobek and Pet Suchos. Laser Crocs, I think, will be particularly useful in this situation. Of course, he does not have a temple in the field, so once it gets rebuilt, he should have access to Laser Crocs. And there's a Rock as well as a Laser Croc. We now have Electrum bullets. Electrum is an actual alloy in real life. It is a gold-silver alloy because it's not uncommon to find raw gold and raw silver mixed in the same ore chunk. And throughout human history, it's always difficult to separate stuff. Especially in this time era where purity was always an issue when it comes to gold. Can't say how effective Electrum bullets would be for a slinger, but seeing how heavy gold and silver is, it'd probably be a pretty good slinging item, because I think lead balls were the best item for slingers. They can use pretty much any sort of rock, but the smoother it is, the easier it's to throw and have accuracy. Hence why they have to have a supply of polished stone before they start picking up any old stone to throw at your opponent. In actuality, slingers in real life were actually pretty lethal. The problem is training, because it is harder to learn how to use a sling compared to how to use a bow and arrow. And of course, then the crossbows were pretty easy to use, and guns were even easier to use. Granted, crossbows were expensive, and guns took a bit of time before they became accessible because gunpowder. Got some spearmen now engaging. Petsuchos and the Watches are at a good firing angle there. The heroes need to start focusing on these niches. The Petsuchos does get gunned down. They got a number of Momellos here. And a nice shockwave there that scatters Red's force. It's not looking good for Red. Red does have more villagers. Got a number of slingers over here. Of course, they are slight buff. They are going to be very useful against Cherry Ballista. They will be equal versus the Turmas, roughly. Granted, these also are heavy slingers. He does have a tech advantage versus a regular medium Terma. This watch is in a hold ground stance. That must be a mistake there. Or hold fire stance. If it was hold ground, at least it would still fire. It looks like the watch is stuck in hold fire rather than hold ground. That made a mistake. I could have seen him putting stuff on a hold ground, like firing across the trees. Overall, great engagement there by Red. He did manage to come out ahead, but I don't think it was a super great engagement for him. We now got 50 versus 52. Similar military count or resource value, but Red does have a good civilian count. In Election Bullets, it makes these slingers a little bit more generous, getting +5 divine damage. They're still not super great, but they are a little bit more generous, and that little bit divine damage, it's hard to specify how effective that is. Versus Marmellos, who have low pierce armor, not super great. But versus Turbos, who have relatively high pierce armor, means they will punch through easier through their armor. So I can't really gauge this all too well. I know originally was 1, and that was a very strong, so 0.5, maybe a good middle ground spot. But it does give a bit more general liability, just having to have a bit of true damage there. Also got Doc here to bring the Leviathan. I think he built back to get the free Leviathan. It only costs 50 gold, so it's probably worth it. Right, also collect this gold deposit. It's the only gold deposit within Sphere of Influence, so you can't be losing it. You have to go for this gold deposit over here. Bit damage from those walls. Slingers here in pretty good numbers, so they should be able to own the Termas. And here's the thing as well, as another aspect of the Termas for the Slingers. Termas are large, which means there's not too much damage density right there. Slingers are small, which means there's a lot of damage in a small little square. And that is very important. It means as armies start pushing forward, Slingers are able to get the fire and damage in before all the Termas does. Damage density is a mechanic that's hard to describe, but it's mostly a common mechanic that is talked about within StarCraft 2 because comparing Marines versus Stalkers, Marines are much smaller, and so you can put a lot of units, a lot of damage in a small surface area, so it's easier to get their damage in. Got now this upgrade, which makes your farms have reduced build time and cost by 50%. Makes it easier to transition to farms. It's a pretty nice upgrade, especially for Raw, who also has the Rain. Blue has trying to rotate around. Red has good force here. Red is starting to expand towards other gold deposit. Does need to grab it. Villager, the citizen does get shanked by the villagers. Definitely San Francisco. Or maybe New York. We do now have this barracks going on down. Trying to go for another barracks here. Primarily for a bit of a wall-in. Red's armor is advancing. Right now blue and red has similar armor size, similar armor values. But this town center will be going down, does not have any masonry. Red's now going for a fortified town center, masons queued on up. Goes to abandon the region, and does not have enough gold for another town center. It has a lot of wood, so probably sell off a bit of wood. Has to retreat to corner field, giving extra mass to blue. Things are relatively slow versus some more mellows. And Wall just trying to get ripped apart there. Got Symphony and Bird here. Priest being punched in the face by Prometheans. But no Bob. Great rotation around there, and since Blue sees that Red's able to do that, and did do it, he's not going to push for it, because he's going to play Ring Around the Rosie. Promethean being stoned to death.
Jones.
Valor Power. I think it was on that citizen there. And blue did a good, and red did another good job shanking the villagers, the citizens, and whooping, trying to obtain that gold deposit as well. So red now has obtained gold. Blue has a full gold deposit here.
Herr Joe's?
And collected from that one, and does have all the gold deposits in the sphere of influence. So blue has plenty of access to gold. Red had trouble with gold, but now it's obtaining it. Ooh, that's a lot of movement units there. Maybe sticking by the Hereditary tree to get some extra health regen would be in order. But trying to stop red from expanding. And its fortress may just need to be deleted. Red, blue's not upon some destroyers, a very good anti-structure unit. Villagers getting stoned to death, that's not good. Ooh. And blue still only has the one town center, so that's a pretty sizable loss, losing all those citizens. Now I got 58 versus 81. Blue still has better feudal control, but losing those citizens is a bit of a deal. And now we've got Raw aging up, going for Horus to give access to the Avengers and to the Tornado. Leviathan still here. The wall will go down. Villagers may need to get back out of the region. He does still have some golden gun. Number 3 here, focus on Symphony Bird. Chariot Archer's been pulling the field. Those got unupgraded. Got Rain being pulling the field. And the Leviathan actually got some work there. It does go down, which means he got some value out of it. Villagers trying to repair up the Nigel stronghold. So these villagers going down. Red is now agent up, brings some Twister. Blue does get out of there and won't do much. It always seems like it's hard for Twister to do much, or Tornado. Maybe, and there's a water spout. There's a lack of sharks there, so no Sharknado.
Σκόπος.
Chariot Archer's taking a bit of damage there. We do now have, was it sun-dried bricks research there, which increases building health, right? Advancer does spin to win a little bit, but now he's getting picked off. The Rock here has loaded up some units, I think some villagers. Slingers, actually. Take off. Does evacuate there. Was that out of curiosity, I know, was that a forced evacuate because it went down, or was that a manual deactivate or evacuate? I'm not so sure. Most of the time I just see rocks only be used, that free rock used as a scout. You now have Heart of Titans, reducing the time it takes to heroify units, sanctify units.
And reach.
And we've got now the Lightstone. He may be eyeing for some heavy Contineris. And of course more Dryads, since they cost free population, just extra units in the field, just a little bit extra mass to your force. Not great, but extra mass is extra mass. It does go a long way. Let's see, what's this research here? That is increased infantry hit points and speed. Plus 20% hit points, plus 10% speed. That's not bad.
Into you.
Which appears to not affect the slingers.
Go.
Only affects spearmen and axemen. Now the spearmen move at 5.5, which actually is quite quick. I see some more destroyers being blown in the field. Destroyers do have times 6 multiplier versus structures, and also have very high pierce armor, 73. So they will resist the singular damage quite a bit, barring that divine damage. That divine damage is true damage. It will go through their armor. More destroyers, more Contineras, and more heavy Argus archers. We got now the camels hitting some of these citizens once again. Red's done a good job of raiding these citizens. Oh, and we got this force here. I wasn't paying attention. A number of shores have already got from the fortified town center. Oh, it's not even fortified yet. Fortified is being researched now. I think fortified town center will be interrupted, and these villages may go down. That's going to be a pretty sizable loss. Red's going to take some losses here. Blue's almost maxed out the civilian population. Red's now down to 1 town center production, looks like. This one's being built now, being powered by a pharaoh. Dryads receiving bit damage there from the priest, very nice. Oh, Red is obtaining the Herspeti tree, so he's bringing out his own Dryads. He's no longer bringing his own Dryads, getting recaptured. I wonder, let's see. Never mind. Trying to do some offhand math, but it was just bad offhand math. More Continents going field, but the very upgraded spearmen, they should be quite good. Also got some counter cavalry units in point of view, who's not really deploying too much cavalry.
Good.
More spearmen, more champion archers, chariot archers. Chariot archers are going to move slower than spearmen.
Good.
And of course, got a free war turtle here. Spearmen overall would be a good call. Chariot archers a bit more chinless for an archer unit. They do attack slowly though. It looks like these counter cavalry units, the Calvasaltus, will connect on some of these chariot archers, which is very good for them.
Into you.
Spearmen now push away forward over here. Counters does flank the terminals, will rip them apart quite quickly. And we've also got some mercenaries put in field, which should also be improved as well, so his mercenaries will last longer thanks to that one research, as well as making them faster. We do now have another ring god power up our Red. He is desperate on food. He's also pretty low in gold as well. Red right now is creating bottom of the barrel. Blue has a pretty good reserve of food, but low in gold and food as well. Control llama caravans. We now have the Spear of Horus. Increase our spearman damage by 10%, and of course increase the empty cavalry damage as well. So his spearmen can be supercharged.
Into you.
But I don't think he's actually gone for the poison resist. He went for Wadges, right? That should give him poison spears. Of course, that poison effect is actually pretty low damage. It's actually not a good upgrade. It may get 1 point or 2 points of damage. That's it. It also doesn't stack. So yeah, that poison spear upgrade probably needs a slight buff. Got a number of Memellos here. Right now, Aurorals is still age 3 versus age 4 units. The more Memellos right now have 10 damage with high attack speed. Spearman right now has 11 damage with sustained attack speed. Right now, these champion spearmen may be equal to Memellos. Of course, can be much cheaper. Costing 75 resources. Don't see more Memellos being pulled in field. Going for, oh, there's a Memello. So yeah, the Memellos only have a slight advantage. But overall, the champion spearman will still be very useful in the situation. Thinks his tech up advantage. Memellos do cost 85 resources. Yep, versus 75. So I think right now the
Into you.
Spearman can be cost effective just because he just has the tech advantage. Those formation moves are pretty weird because those Spearmen are just so fast. 5.5. They actually really outrun the Mamels as well. First Betty tree has been captured. It's going to go for some Dryads now to give some extra mass. For Miggle Stronghold here. Gold deposit completely untouched. Unspoiled. Undiluted. Another Miggle Stronghold going on up there. Dryad back on off. More Dryads being established. Blue's trying to transition to some llama caravans. Raw has stabilized his economy, so that rain did stabilize his economy just well enough, which is good. He's going for his own camel caravans. Hopefully he has some priests empowering those markets, because I'm pretty sure that improves the gold drop-off. It will help out quite a bit. Looks like not. I never see people using the lesser and powerful raw priests. I think people should go for more often. At least for some economic drop sites, some limited economic drop sites. Like say there's a gold deposit, just empower the structures and get a bit extra gold drop off. Got some camel upgrades, gave some help to Dread Dark Water upgrade. Also helps out his camel caravans, making them faster. Nothing like saying, gave your camels mysterious water to improve them.
Into you.
Red does not have incendiary arrow research just yet, not like him ready for it. He's low on food once again. Right now, Argus Archers do 7.3 damage, 20 range. Shared Archers, Chamber Shared Archers right now doing 11.4 DPS, 19 range. Do cost 140 versus the 95 of the Argus Archers.
Anyway.
We've also having a bit more health as well, so they're roughly equal right now, barring the mobility of the Shared Archers. Redstone breaking through. I think the lack of tech age up for Blue is being a bit of a problem. He also needs to get more food. He can basically consume all the food on the side of the map as well. There's a rain god power summon. Very nice. I think once again the raw player is having trouble with food, so he's trying to get that going. Of course, rain god power no longer affects your wood income like the original Age of Mythology. Apparently, it affected farms only around town centers and helps improve your wood collection rate by 5% for some odd reason. Yeah, it was a pretty bugged out god power in the original version of Age of Mythology. Another Miggle Stronghold deployed in the field, being deployed in the field. Over here, Blue's trick forward. Got camel caravans for his Contineris and catapult. Champion camel's been researched. Red's grabbing this forward gold. And now we do have the age up for Oranos going for Helios to give access to the Hecate Gigantus and the Mirror Towers. He's also going for bronze upgrades. Thought he would have had it by now.
Into you.
Red right now does have copper and bronze as well. Both players are missing blacksmith research. Ugh. Mix of copper and bronze, or I think it's all bronze now.
Garrett.
Great.
So I can keep up some of the champion research.
And
Argus
wait.
Archers in a good defense position there in the urbanized terrain.
Garrett.
Chariot Archers do not outrange heavy Argus Archers well, so the Argus Archers are in. If the Chariot Archers in range, so are the Argus Archers.
Interior.
Camel's going straight for the llamas. These llamas are causing a bit of drama for red. There's a Hecus Gigantus. Knocks back the camels, and off the backboard into more barracks. Huh, the Hecus Gigantus does not have any bonus myth units, like most myth units. Does have a decent amount of siege damage, though. And more of these llamas are going down. I think so, the longer the game goes on, the worse off it's going to be for blue. He does have access to Vortex now. Not sure what the other god that, oh, looks like Luda's back to the game now. This is Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As I mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay for tonight, so everyone, thank you for watching, have a good evening.